Welcome to The Root of Autism, Part 5. Today we're talking about minimizing the chemical burden, especially in the autistic brain. Because we talked this week about how chemicals can affect the autistic brain, okay? So this week we've been building, right? We've been talking about sensory overload, oversensitivities, the effects of socialization, and when we can minimize how toxins and chemicals affect the brain, that will help to give the autistic brain more control so that they can better identify and control their sensitivities and their behaviors, right? So today we're going to talk about how to minimize those chemicals. And I'm going to list some of these things. These are the things that I used to teach when I worked at the Cancer Institute. So I talked about my job as the Assistant Director of Outreach at the Cancer Institute Center for Environmental Oncology when I worked at the University of Pittsburgh. If you missed that, that was part 4, that was yesterday. You can go back and watch that. I went into detail about my job there and what I taught and how I learned about how it affected my son who has autism and how it helped him to reduce the chemical burden for his brain. So today I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that may help your child when you reduce those chemicals and some of the details. Some of these things that you'll know, right? Some of the things that I'm going to talk to you about or teach you today are not as obvious, okay? Some of the things people are already talking about, you see it in the media, you see it in the news. Some of the things are not so obvious. I've already changed my entire lifestyle. We've been living like this for over 20 years. So let's get into it, okay? Some of these things you're gonna know, especially at the beginning, like switching to non-toxic products. Maybe you know about this stuff. Maybe you kind of ignored it because you really didn't understand how important it is, especially when it comes to cancer. But this is not a cancer talk. This is a chemical reduction talk regarding your child's autistic brain and how reducing these chemicals can help them, right? Using natural alternatives, but also looking for the products, the cleaning products specifically that say free and clear. They eliminate such chemicals that have crazy phosphates, synthetic fragrances, and all kinds of other kind of additives and dangerous toxins, right? You might want to use alternatives like baking soda, vinegar, castile soap, some essential oils to clean your home, okay? Use glass and stainless steel and BPA-free containers. So what you already know, we're just going over this quickly, is that plastics in the environment are bad for the most part. You can use plastic safely. Hear me. All plastics aren't bad, but even the plastics that are not so good for you, you can use them safely in the environment. Like for instance, when you're using plastic to eat with, you don't want to microwave your food in plastic. You want to microwave your food on ceramic and glass, not in plastic. So if you're heating up food, you don't want to take your food out and then put it on a plastic container or heat it in a plastic container. So even whenever you're getting takeout, a lot of times they'll put it in plastic. It's not a good idea. So some things you can avoid, but you want to be able to control, how you use plastic, especially at home. Okay. And yes, what you heard is true about these coffee cups at your favorite coffee shop. The paper cups have plastic in them. So they're putting your favorite hot beverage in plastic containers. So if you're drinking out of those cups every day, you might want to consider a reusable ceramic or metal mug. Okay. For your own self, but especially for your child. Okay. Filter your water. Invest in a good water filter that removes heavy metals, chlorine, fluoride, and other toxins. So you can Google fluoride and chlorine and how it affects the autistic brain. This is not just me. I'm telling you, everything that I'm telling you, you can look it up. Okay? But fluoride affects the autistic brain. And so you want to be able to filter these things. Um, what I also used to teach at the Cancer Institute is that there is a great, huge amount of water that your body absorbs in the shower. Drinking water is one thing. But when you get in the shower, in the bathtub, your pores open up and it absorbs the water. So your water intake is not just through your mouth. Your pores absorb water. So what I have and what I would suggest you do is get a shower filter. Now, if you go to my website, I have a list of products that I like and that I use. And so if you go to my website, TerayWard.com, there's a tab, and I'll drop it in the link in the chat here, of my favorite products. If you go online to Amazon, or you go to Home Depot, you can get a shower filter for right around $30 or $40, and you screw it right onto your shower. Okay? And it filters that water. I told you I'd teach you something new. So when you get in the shower, if you're in the shower for 10 minutes or so, your body is absorbing all the water and the contaminants that are in that water as if you're drinking it. So if you already drink filtered water and say, oh, she's not teaching me anything new, I already know to filter my water, to drink filtered water. Your body is absorbing unfiltered water in the shower if you don't have a shower filter on your shower. Okay. Reduce indoor air pollution. You should be using, you should make sure you're changing your filters regularly, and it's a good idea to use air filters. Let me tell you this. Most indoor plants filter air. They naturally filter air. They don't just give us fresh air, but they actually filter toxins out of the air. They do. And different indoor plants filter different toxins, like actual toxins. If you don't have a plant, an indoor plant in your child's room, put one in your child's room. You should have one in your room. You should have plants in every room of your house. Once you buy it, it's free. It's just filtering air in your house for free. Okay? Do that. Choose organic foods when possible. So you know that, many of the foods are sprayed with pesticides. A pesticide, anything with "side" at the end means to kill. So, but also, not only is it killing the insects and it's protecting the fruits and vegetables from any disease, right? They also spray chemicals onto the food to help it grow faster so they can hurry up and get it to market. So to protect yourself, your children, your family from these toxins, organic foods are what you should be choosing. Okay. Check the ingredients in your soaps, shampoos, lotions. Let me tell you this. This is what I used to teach. Everything that goes onto your skin goes into your bloodstream. Everything. So this is what I used to teach at the Cancer Institute. For the most part, if you wouldn't eat it, don't put it on your skin. If it's not safe enough to eat, it's not safe enough to go into your skin because it's going to go into your bloodstream. Let me prove it to you. People who smoke, they decide that they want to stop smoking, so that the doctor prescribes them a nicotine patch. It goes right on their arm, and it has medicine on it that sits right here, and it filters medicine through their skin. Right? It's the same thing with lotions. You're rubbing it on, just rubbing it right on. It goes into your bloodstream. Let me tell you what else. Hair dye. Now you can look at me and say, Teray, how dare you talk to us about hair dye? Look at your hair. I dye my hair myself. I don't go to the hair salon. You know why? Because they're going to massage it into my scalp. I do my hair myself, and I keep it a half inch away from my roots because I don't want it in my scalp. Yesterday, in part 4, I showed you this pamphlet that I did at the University of Pittsburgh Cancer Institute. Okay? And it's called Environmental Risks of Breast Cancer in African American Women. And it talks about hair dyes. It talks about relaxers that Black women have been using for years. Yeah. Hair dyes. I dyed Hassan's hair, my son who has autism. He likes his hair blonde. But when I dye it, I keep it away from his scalp because everything that goes on your skin goes into your bloodstream. Keep an eye on that. Okay? What else? Nail polish. Ladies, we would like to think that if it's on our fingernails, it's not going to go in. Not only is it going into our nail bed and through because our fingernails are porous. So we have skin underneath our nails, but we're breathing in the toxins. When you're breathing that in, it's going directly into your brain. They now have vegan polishes that cut out those harmful, the most harsh chemicals. And I've been using it for years before it became popular. Same with makeup. Makeup is worse. I've been using Origins. I'm not even getting, I don't get any commission. Origins makeup. I've been using it for years and I don't like it so much anymore because they made so many changes. But there are makeup lines that have less chemicals in it. And I use it. I've been using my mascara, my foundation, my eyebrows, my everything. You see the makeup that I have on, lips, everything. And it's not less than. Anytime you or your child is using makeup, make sure you use the ones with the least amount of chemicals. Okay. What else? Hairsprays, deodorants, without the what is it? The aluminum free. Soaps, nail polish remover, acetone free nail polish remover. Okay? Shampoos, everything. You want to consider these things. And if you're sitting there thinking, oh, that stuff is expensive, not necessarily. And let me ask you this. Even if it does cost a couple more dollars, which is worse? To keep using the cheaper stuff that's that could cause more harm to your body long term, or to add a couple dollars to. Okay, I'm just trying to put some things into perspective. Because I had changed my lifestyle before my first divorce from my first marriage, and I was still living like this as a single mother. Yeah. Even with the organic and everything. Yeah. You can once you change your lifestyle, you'll figure it out. If you really want to commit to it, you'll figure it out. Avoid parabens, sulfates, phthalates, synthetic dyes, and fragrances. Perfumes. Perfumes, it's a chemical. It doesn't mean you have to avoid perfume. Don't spray it on your skin. Spray it on your clothes. Let it dry, put it on your body. Then you get dressed. Don't spray it on your skin because it's going to go into your bloodstream. So you can use it, but you want to use it differently. Okay? Listen, I have a whole collection. The Macy's counter, I got half of those, half of them. The way my husband buys me perfumes, I have a collection. But use it safely. That whole, we're not doing that anymore. Okay? All right. Laundry detergent, same thing. You have to understand that laundry detergent, it's still in the clothes when you put it on and it's touching your skin. And you're not going to like this, fragrance free, especially for your child's autistic brain. Fragrance free. All right? I also want you, whenever your child gets new clothes, when you're shopping for them, look to see if it has a flame retardant. Remember flame retardants? Remember they started marketing them years ago because, they didn't want children's pajamas to catch fire in case of a fire. It's a chemical to keep the clothes from catching fire. It's a chemical. It's on the clothes. It touches their skin. It's going into their bloodstream. And even without the flame retardant, when your children get new clothes, wash them first in the free and clear, fragrance-free detergent. Okay. Try to avoid pesticides, weed control, pest control. So they have all natural like pest control. Because I know what you're thinking. You're like, listen, if we have mosquitoes, if we have some ants in the house, we need to get rid of those. You're right. But there are safer alternatives. If you're hiring a company to come to your house, ask them about safer alternatives because they have some. They do. If you're buying them in the store, there are safer alternatives for you, your family, your children, your dog. There are safer alternatives. Spraying stuff in the house. I'm not going to say any names. However, there are air freshener companies that they spray and they're spraying it on the kids' toys. I cringe every time I see the commercials. We are not spraying stuff on the kids' toys talking about, well, we're just trying to freshen it up. Yeah, instead of in between washes, we can just spray the clothes. No, we're not. If it needs to be washed, then we're going to wash it. We're not going to spray it with some kind of chemical and breathe it in. It smells so fresh. No. What? There are ways to freshen up your home without that. We can use soy candles with a cotton or a bamboo wick. If you're lighting your candle and you see that black smoke coming up, no, that is a chemical toxins going up into your air and you're breathing it in. Now your plants have to work overtime to clear the air. Your poor plants. No. Also be mindful of flame retardant in your mattresses, pillows. When you get new pillows, throw them in the dryer on low for a half hour. My dryer has a steam feature. That's what I do. I put it in there in the steam feature for 20 minutes and then I dry it on low. New pillows. I do that every once in a while anyway, just to clean it, fluff it out, dust mites, whatever. But whenever you buy new anything and it has that new smell, that's a chemical. That new car smell, that new whatever smell, you take it out of the package and it has that smell, that's a chemical. Before you use it, before you let it touch your skin, that has to air out first. Put it in the dryer, wash it first, whatever it is. Okay? Don't let your child lay on it or sleep in that until that airs out. Okay? Canned foods are lined with BPA. And BPA stands for bisphenol A. I remember that from whenever I worked at the Cancer Institute. But that's a known carcinogen. Okay? So try to eliminate or minimize canned foods. Some things we can't avoid, okay? But if you don't know, then you'll just keep using whatever, thinking, oh, well, whatever. But I have canned goods in my cupboard. I didn't stop using canned goods. But when I can, I use less. And that's the key, okay? You want to use less. Try to look for BPA-free labels, or just switch to fresh or frozen or like bottled in a glass jar. Okay. Try to avoid non-stick cookware. Yeah. Teflon and similar coatings release toxic fumes when heated, and it seeps into your food and you're eating it. We don't want that, okay? And let me just tell you this. This is not in my notes. I learned this from the Cancer Institute, and I used to teach it. Cumin, ground cumin, releases and it flushes toxins from the brain. Try to sprinkle that in your food every chance you get. Mix it in, all right, with your other seasonings. It flushes toxins from the brain, okay? And lastly, I want you to understand, reduce your radiation exposure. Reduce your radiation exposure. Where is radiation coming from? You're going to be mad at me. It's coming from your iPhone. It's coming from your Android. Let me explain something to you. Every time you buy a new phone, a new cell phone, it comes with a radiation warning and disclosure, and you don't read it. Remember yesterday, in part 4, when we talked about the chemical effect, I told you about the book that I helped my boss from the Cancer Institute write, called The Secret History on the War on Cancer. She wrote another book. I told you she wrote a couple books. She wrote another book. It's called Disconnect. It's about the radiation in phones. I didn't help her write this book. But I told you she devoted her life to cancer research. We're not going to stop using cell phones, but I want you and your children to use them safely. Stop letting your child sleep with a cell phone or tablet in their bed. Stop letting your child use the cell phones or tablet while they're plugged in, because that increases the radiation exposure. And try to limit their exposure altogether. Give them screen time. Limit their screen time. Okay? Where else are we getting radiation? From our microwaves. Still. Everything I'm telling you, you can look up. Go to Google. Look everything up. Your microwave. We're not going to stop using microwaves. Of course we're not. However, you need to use it safely. How about this? Your child, younger than age 12 or 15, well, not 15. If your child is younger than age 10, I wouldn't let them use a microwave at all. But if you're going to let them use it, if you're going to let them use it, have them put it in, put their plate of food in, close the door, turn it on, and step away. Well, I have my husband. Step away. Don't let them stand there and watch the food in the microwave, because they're being exposed to radiation. Something else I just thought of, it's not in my notes. Do not let your child pump gasoline, at the gas station. The fumes, let them stay in the car with the windows rolled up. Fumes. Their brain, chemicals. Don't let them do that, okay? Wi-Fi routers, Bluetooth. If your child has headphones so that they can watch their movie, let them have a cord instead of like the wireless headphones, because it increases radiation to the brain. Like I said, you can look all this up. Again, we're not going to be able to completely avoid all of this. We want you to reduce it. especially for your child with autism. Okay? I did it, like I said, I did it years ago. Whenever my kids were born in the 90s, it wasn't so much of an issue. But it is now. So you want to kind of try to minimize it as much as possible. Okay? And I don't want you to beat yourself up because you can't do all of it at once. It's going to take time. A little bit at a time will help. You know what I mean? Over the course of months, make these changes. Because if you change all of it at once, like your whole household will just be miserable. Okay? And again, many of these products, my favorite products, I have a whole product page on my website. My favorite products, there's a whole list. If you need to go and see which ones, or what should I buy, what shouldn't I buy, there's a million products out here that claim to be safe, that claim to do. You can go to my website. I actually have a picture from my kitchen counter of all the products that I use, that I actually use. These are products that I actually use. I have been using, I use every day. Okay. So I also wanted to let you know this. This is the final episode of The Root of Autism. And I am now wanting and opening up a membership to work with families. Okay. So if you want to be able to work with me regarding, trying to reduce the chemical burden and trying to help you navigate your child's sensitivities and socialization, you can go to my website. I'm only taking a handful of families. I don't want to be bombarded, and I want to be able to give families the time and the attention that they need. Okay. So again, I'm going to drop that link in the chat. All right. Let me see if I forgot anything, but yeah, I hope all of this helps. I wish you blessings on your autistic journey with your baby, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next videos. Bye for now.